Okay guys, I have been doing quite a bit of buffing, or should I say cleaning, with that hand cleaner. Again, non-pumice hand cleaner. You can see a lot of the old soiling that came out of the finish. Could we get out more? Absolutely, but that's not really the point. One of the things I've done is I've now taken sewing machine oil, and I have been putting it over the machine, and you can see, if you look closely, you'll see the dramatic difference that the oil makes, right? It fills in the pores of the paint, gives it that beautiful, deep, rich luster. And what I did with that cleaner, as I went over, I didn't want to remove all the patina. It would, like I say, the stronger you clean, the more you can actually begin to damage the finish. And instead of doing that, I simply used enough cleaner to take a little bit of the old oxidation, the old oil and dust, and I removed some of it so that you could see those beautiful decals. They were hiding underneath all the old staining, if you will, right? Because a lacquer finish it's actually a porous paint finish. I know it sounds odd, but the paint finish can actually breathe. And so now what you're seeing is sort of my approach to restoring the finish of a vintage machine. Now, this machine was used, and as the paint wore away, you can see this down here by the needle plate. It's actually very smooth, and so I'm not going to touch that up. I have special black enamel I can use to do that, but I'm not going to do that here. I want that part of the patina of the machine. Now, if you ever have paint sticking up where it's sharp, you're going to either have to sand it or you're going to have to touch it up in some way, because you know, when you're sewing, you've got to have a nice smooth finish for your fabrics to slide across. And now, you know, I'm still getting a little bit of soiling, but a lot of what I took off was, like I say, it was on the surface. It was blocking the beautiful decoration that Singer used back at the turn of the 20th century. And so now I'm just, like I say, I'm adding more oil, and I use sewing machine oil really as my polish, as my buffer, right? You can always go back and add more over time. But I don't use car waxes, I don't use special polishes. I do use metal polish on my metal parts, and then also alcohol. But honestly, I really am approaching this in a sense of basically cleaning, well, I'm talking about the finish, cleaning it and basically making it, letting us see some of the beauty, but not cleaning it so harshly that I harm it. And you know what? A machine that's been around since 1906, I think it deserves a little, I think it deserves to have a little patina, right? I think that's part of the great thing about an antique. But the wonderful thing is, because of all the different things I've done to get the machine cleaned, adjusted, and ready to sew, I'm really looking forward to actually sewing on it. So what is the next step? The next step, now that I've saved the best for last here, I get to polish it and see that beautiful finish come to life. The next step for this machine is I'm going to be putting it back into its treadle table, and I have a new treadle belt, and I'll show you guys how I buy it in bulk, but I have leather treadle belt material, and I'm going to be cutting that and getting it set up for the machine to sew again. There's a way to install that belt. It's not hard, but I'm going to show you guys how I do that, and looking forward to hopefully being able to do some stitching on this machine soon. But thank you guys for watching. I know some of these videos get a little wordy and long sometimes, and I think my last one was over 20 minutes, so I'm going to have to figure that out. But I just wanted you guys to see how I approach restoration, and particularly in this video with the finish. Now you can see so much more of the machine. She doesn't look all dusty and gritty anymore. But again, you can see some of that amber patina is still here, but it's okay, right? I don't want to dig down to the very limits of that lacquer, because once you penetrate the lacquer, now you just got bare decals. And there's something kind of nice, but now you can see the decals. They're popping out on the black. The black is beautiful and lustrous with the sewing machine oil. And this is how I normally prepare, particularly my black lacquer sewing machines. And the vast majority of vintage sewing machines are black lacquer. That was the standard for almost a century in sewing machines before we got to the 1950s, and companies started playing with more unusual and brighter colors. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. There's a lot more I could talk about, obviously, with with going about restoring a machine. It's very time consuming to do. It takes even longer when you're making a video talking about it as you're doing it. But I wanted to kind of show that to you folks who, there are only so many of us who restore these domestic machines, and many of you may have one and you may end up just doing it yourself. Even if you're willing to pay someone to do it, you may not have anyone locally that can or is willing to. But I think they're a wonderful part of history, and I've got a customer in mind for this one. We're going to do some testing on her material to see if this will be a good machine for her. But anyway, I will bring another video back to you when I've got the machine in the treadle and we're getting the belt ready to get her cranked up. Thanks for watching.